Jesse Marsh there, the Canada head coach. At the moment there, you can hear the applause in the background. That is for Joe Allen, the Swansea and Wales legend, who has just been presented with a plaque by another legend of Welsh football, Alan Curtis here. Joe, of course, having retired from football at the end of last season, hung up his boots in May when Swansea's season ended. A brief cameo, remember, under Craig Bellamy with Wales when he came back for a couple of games and was part of the World Cup qualifying campaign. We forget, don't we, Nathan and Danny, that he did actually play a role in this current campaign. I think the last appearance was in North Macedonia. I don't know if we want to go over what happened there with Joe at the end of that game, but I mean, you know, a wonderful servant, 77 caps for Wales, and a nice little moment, even if there's not a huge crowd here to see it.
Yeah, it's a pity really, because players of that stature, or any international player really, you like to see them, you know, get their just desserts, and it's a nice touch by the Welsh FA. But yeah, you kind of think, you know, how difficult it is just to get to be a footballer. So to get to the top of the tree at international football, you know, yeah, maybe a bit more, you know, kudos, a bit more pizzazz
or the fun
needed.
Yeah. But certainly Joe Allen adored in this part of the world, of course.
Well, he's adored all over Wales, mate.
Absolutely, yeah. Euro 2016 hero, one of Swansea and West Wales' favourite sons.
Tried to get him to Cardiff, but it just wouldn't happen. He looked at me and smiled, lovely lad, and just said, I
can't get you into Cardiff.
Yeah, I said, I know that feeling.
Haven't you got a golden ticket to Cardiff, Nathan Blake? Get anyone in down there?
I got a golden boot.
You've got gold in your boots.
That too.
Let's talk about Canada there. We heard from Jesse Marsh, and yesterday Craig Bellamy saying that we expect them to be, Danny Gabardon, ridiculously aggressive without the ball. And what a lot of Wales fans wouldn't, what a lot of football fans wouldn't know is that you can, Craig said, get data on all of these international teams now, so you can find out all of their stats, the running stats, how much they run, how much they work, and all the rest of it. So you can handpick who you would ideally like to choose to play in friendlies like this. Yeah. And he said, I really wanted them and England next month.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy has it all, trust me. he leaves no stone left unturned.
Where can we get that data from?
Very kind of stats driven. He has a little black book. He's got a laptop and everything is on there about every team, running stats, his own players, players from other teams. He's so kind of knowledgeable, and you know, Jesse Marsh, I think Craig would have been very kind of interested as well in that kind of Red Bull kind of schooling, that Red Bull way of playing, the Gagan kind of pressing, playing with a high intensity. And yeah, he's handpicked this fixture because I think he sees Canada, or he sees a lot of traits in this maybe Canadian team that he wants to see in his Wales team. High intensity, on the front foot. You look at Canada in the recent World Cup. They were really exciting to watch. I know they lost all of their three games, but you look at that first game against Belgium where they lost 1-0, and they caused them all kinds of problems. They just couldn't score, and they probably didn't quite get that balance right between attack and defence. So I think it's going to be a really interesting test for Wales tonight. And you look at Kazakhstan's second half against Wales last Thursday, and they high pressed us, and we really struggled with that. You know, we couldn't keep the ball. We caused a lot of problems for ourselves. And I think it'll be a similar thing tonight. You know, they'll come after us. They'll look to press high, win the ball back. And I think the manager will want to see us control the ball a lot better than what he saw against Kazakhstan. So it's going to be a good test.
That's what you have to be able to adjust during games, Ian. Do you know what I mean? That's what all the systems and all this is about. Running stats, and what Kazakhstan done first half was just sat back and invited Wales on, and then they just flipped the script second half and just pressed them. Let's be fair, I think most of us were like, well, we kind of got away with that one, you know, with the opportunities they created in the second half.
He kind of admitted as much yesterday when he said we did not do the hard yards during that second half against them. And he said also, although he didn't use the word backside, he used a different word. He said we'll get our backsides kicked tonight if we don't do the hard work. What does he mean by that?
Listen, sometimes, Gabs will know this, you go into a game, you feel great, and for some reason you will run, but you're not at it for some reason. You're not coming out there to not try, right? And then there's other games you won't feel great. You'll go out, you'll score in the first couple of minutes, and you'll just float. You'll be like, the best player on the park. So I understand what Craig is saying. The hard yards does have to be done, but I also thought we kind of lost our shape a bit as well. I don't think it's just about the running stats, how far you run. You also have to look at the system of play.
We have the Celtic Horn, as we always have now, before every Wales home international. And we have the Maple Leaf Canadian flag to the left of the halfway line, the Welsh Red Dragon on the other side. Plenty of FAW Welsh Dragon flags being waved by the mascots who've got ponchos on to protect them from the rain. It's eased off slightly, I think, but it's going to be a damp evening here at the Swansea.com Stadium. Decent crowd, but by no means full here, as Wales prepare, of course, for next month and what is going to be a monumental battle against Belgium at the Cardiff City Stadium on Monday, October the 13th. We will be live for that one, of course, and the England game away to England at Wembley. Craig Bellamy saying yesterday, don't underestimate what it means to go to Wembley and play against our old rivals from down the M4. And now we have Zombie Nation, one of those other big Welsh football anthems. The teams are in the tunnel getting ready to come out. Danny Gabardon, if you look at the team, you might think Ronan Capaccio, will he be a little bit nervous like Dylan Lawler was last Thursday? Lawler didn't look nervous. Capaccio hasn't looked nervous for Cardiff. Great opportunity for him, opportunities for others. What do you want to see?
You just want to see the team play with a bit of freedom, a bit of confidence, and you're just trying to implement the game plan from the manager. It'd be interesting to see, obviously, with 8 changes, will that kind of continuity, will that kind of rhythm be there? I'm not so sure, but what an opportunity for the likes of Ronan. He deserves it. He's a young kid, but he's come into that Cardiff City team, and he looks like he's been playing for years. There's certain players that come along that they just step up to the level and it kind of looks easy, or they look comfortable, they don't look nervous, they relish the occasion. And like I said earlier, tonight, these kind of friendly games, the pressure's off a little bit. You can just kind of go out. Yes, there'll be nerves there, but the result maybe doesn't matter so much. A lot of these friendly games are about kind of implementing stuff as a manager, or individual kind of performances. You want to see things from certain individuals. So great to see him get his opportunity tonight. Charlie Cruz, another one. Cardiff City would be really disappointed that they weren't able to kind of hold on to him. He kind of came through the academy and Leeds poached him, but he's another player that's kind of been knocking on the door. We saw Joe Allen down there, obviously getting a round of applause from the fans, and we haven't really replaced him yet since he's retired. We're still searching to replace him. So can Charlie Cruz be the one? Can he step up tonight and put in a fantastic performance as well?
A vacancy for the next Joe Allen, I wonder. Well, we've got people waving their mobile phones, their torches are on to help build the atmosphere here. And it is, remember, 12 years, as we said, since there was last a crowd for Wales senior men's international here. 2013, when Wales played Croatia here. It has been 21 years since Wales last faced Canada. Craig Bellamy was in the team on that night in Wrexham. He is now the head coach, who has still, remember, only suffered one defeat since taking over about 15 months ago. That was in that amazing night in Brussels when they lost 4-3 to Belgium. Belgium to come at home next month, remember. Before that, 2 big friendlies. England in October. But tonight, all eyes on Canada, one of the hosts for the 2026 World Cup. Out they come, with tops that say Canada splashed across the back. Wales then heading to the right at the halfway line in white tracksuit tops. All of the mascots are wearing rain jackets. And we have the usual David the Ewan anthem, Amarohid, as they line up for the anthems. Ben Davis, formerly of Swansea City, leads Wales out. Plenty of Swansea boys, or Swansea connections at least, in that Wales starting lineup tonight. Lined up 15 metres inside the field. And before the game, everyone stands to their feet for the 2 national anthems. And first, the visitors, Canada.
Swansea are proud.
Football back in Swansea then. It is not a sellout as Craig Bellamy had wished for, but it is at least 3/4 full here at a very wet Swansea.com stadium as Wales fans across the nation, wherever they are, dream of a warm 2026 summer in Canada, the USA and Mexico at the World Cup. But the campaign on hold for the time being. 2 friendlies before battle in Group J resumes. England to come next month. But it is Canada tonight. But do we have some future World Cup stars in the making, I wonder, with more debutants in that Wales team? Your commentary team for tonight, Nathan Blake and Danny Gabbard, the former Wales internationals, alongside Mark Poyser on BBC Radio Wales Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2.
Thank you, Ian. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Swansea.com stadium. We're right on cue. The rain has at last stopped. There is still some incredibly dark clouds hovering overhead as Wales prepare for a must-win game against Belgium next month. It is Canada tonight, a nation known more for ice hockey and lacrosse rather than football. But over the last few years, they have been steadily climbing the FIFA World Rankings, now at an all-time high of 28th, 3 places above Craig Bellamy's Wales. A chance for them to continue their own preparations for the tournament. Wales just want to be there next summer. Plenty of changes, 8 in total. Danny and Nathan, who is going to take their opportunity tonight?
Well, I think it'll be a tough game, Mark. 2 evenly matched teams. If you're playing your first team, be interested to see how the debutants cope, because the Canadian team, looking at them and looking at the players they've selected, they are very athletic, very strong, very powerful. You know, they've got a bit of everything, pace, skill. So it'll be a tough ask for Wales tonight, but let's see how it goes. Like I said, 28-31, evenly matched.
A very similar team for Canada to the one that played against Romania, so the continuity and the fluidity will certainly, and team understanding will be there for them. 8 changes for us, so that's my only concern. Will that kind of team understanding be there? I'm sure Craig Bellamy's been working tactically the last couple of days on the training and to make sure that is the case, and just really excited to see kind of individuals step up. Really mentioned Charlie Crew, obviously Roman Capaccio at right back. We've got that experience in the central defensive area of Cabango and Ben Davies, so hopefully an improved performance from what we saw second half Thursday against Kazakhstan, where maybe we can control the ball a bit better, and you know, that intensity that Craig talks about so much, you know, it needs to be there for the full 90 minutes.
Adam Davis is an interesting one. Really interested to see how he goes tonight, Mark.
His first cap since June 2024, since the final match under Robert Page. And it's going to be Wales to start the game, all in red with the green and white flashes down the sides of the shirts and the shorts. And they're going to go towards that very small band of Canadian fans, so right to left as we look at it here, and we are underway here on BBC Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2. The band sparks into tune almost immediately as the ball's on the halfway line and dribbling out of play for a Wales throw across from us. If you're just tuning into us, the Wales team in full: Adam Davis in goal, Capaccio, Cabango, Ben Davis and Williams, Jordan James and crew in midfield, Dan James, Wilson and Brooks behind Mark Harris, the striker. Canada with their first attack, and the captain Ben Davis has to go back. First test for Adam Davis, who Nathan was just talking about, only his sixth cap this evening, and he will clear downfield towards his opposite number, who's put under pressure by Mark Harris, but he's able to get the ball away, and he gives it back to Adam Davis. Keeper to keeper. When we played 60 seconds, it is 0-0. The Canadian team: St Clair in goal, Sigger, De Fougerolles, Cornelius, who plays for Rangers, and Laria. And then in midfield, Buchanan, Saliba, Kone and Ahmed. And the front two are Tani, Uluwashei, and Canada's all-time record goal scorer Jonathan David, who plays his football at Juventus. Wales in possession. It's walking pace at the moment. It is goalless in Swansea. Wales's first match here since a 0-0 draw against the United States in November 2010.
I do like the fact that Canada seem to play a 4-4-2 more often than not. They've obviously got their system, to a T, and nothing better than seeing two forwards on the pitch. Gabs will probably disagree.
Defender's nightmare. I was glad to see the back of that system, to be honest with you, Blakey.
It is a bit of a throwback, 4-4-2. Here come Canada. Nathan Blake at the Royal Athletic, and they're charging forward now on the far left side in towards the penalty area. That could be a penalty, but the referee says Capaccio got the ball. We're on the opposite side to it. The Canadian player went down. There's absolutely no protest from those on white in the pitch. Canada all in white with the red trim. The referee, who is Robert Jones, said Ronan Capaccio took the ball. We'll get Danny and Nathan's thoughts, but this is Wales's first attack. Harris down the left, makes a space in the middle. It's a chance for Brooks, and he's missed the ball completely. He had the freedom of the Canadian penalty area, went for the first time volley, and missed the ball altogether. What a chance!
Yeah, great run down this left-hand side. I have to say, Mark Harris, great ball in with his left foot, and then something you wouldn't expect to see from David Brooks, a complete swing and a miss, a total air shot with his left foot, but could have taken a touch, could have taken 3 touches actually, and slotted that. Went for the glory and got it all wrong, I'm afraid.
Down the other end, was that a penalty? I mean, admittedly, we've got the worst view on the other side, but the way you were jumping up and down next to me, Danny.
I'm looking at it, and from here, it looks like a Stonewall penalty to me.
Well, the ball rolled to the keeper. It didn't roll out for a corner.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. He's tracking back Ronan, and I'm thinking, please don't leave him, do not dive in.
Yeah,
well, it's a panic. He just panics, and he thinks, I've got to make a tackle here before he's going to shoot.
It's a friendly, right?
Yeah.
And the referee's name's Robert Jones, thank God.
He is English. We haven't got a monitor in front of us. There is one just on the way. From the tiny angle we got, it did look like he took none of the ball. And there's no VAR or goal line technology tonight. Here come Canada into the penalty area, and it's a curling shot from Buchanan. He did all the hard work, and I think the acoustics from these Wales fans will tell you that ended up in the fans, not in the back of the net.
You nailed it though, Mark. You've done all the hard work. Cut inside from this right-hand side, just inside the 18-yard box. He's trying to bend it for that far corner. Top stanch, gets it all wrong. I'm looking at him now. He's still angry with himself. He's hit it up over the bar and out the touch. So fortunate for Wales.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's a great start to the game. Really open feel about it end to end already.
That's what we wanted.
There's no such thing as friendlies. This is Ben Davis for Wales. 0-0, but both teams could have scored already. Wales get a free kick as Dan James is sent tumbling over, much to the delight of Craig Bellamy in the dark jacket and the grey trousers.
Well, Jesse March is just having a word with the referee about the penalty, and he's signifying sort of a ball motion.
Seen it on the replay.
So you've seen it on the replay, and it must be,
He didn't take any of the ball.
It didn't look like, and the ball, like I said, didn't change direction. which is usually the giveaway.
It's 0-0. 5 minutes have been played here. And it has been quite an exciting start for a friendly. There are World Cup qualifiers going on in Europe tonight. And the standout result to bring you so far this evening, Armenia have beaten the Republic of Ireland by 2-1. There are no matches in Wales's group this evening.
Gaz is looking at me like, what you talking about, Willis?
I'm just thinking, is that a standout?
Is that real? Gaz is looking at me, I can't even look at him because I'm thinking, wow.
Well, Wales know to their cost about the talents of Armenia. Free kick to Canada, meantime, just over the halfway line. It is 0-0 at a very wet Swansea.com stadium. In attendance is Alan Sheehan, the Swansea head coach.
It's not too cold, though. We've had plenty of rain, so the pitch will be nice and zippy, nice and quick.
It's not too cold, says the man who's brought his gloves.
That's because you've got
With my bobble hat on.
300 layers on, that's what I mean.
I'm boiling hot.
Now this Canada free kick will be eventually curled into the penalty area. It's a high line from Wales, 10 yards outside their box, and it comes now. Cabango, the Swansea captain, heads away for Wales, who will try and counter, but that's snuffed out on the halfway line. And it's intricate, eye-catching play from Canada to get the ball over to the far left. Down the line they're looking for David, the superstar of this team. He cuts it back and only finds a young Charlie Crew, and his pass is out for a Canada throw midway in the Wales half over on what is the Canadian far left. Cabango then with the interception to Pacquiao. It's a lovely pass out, but then Cruz lost it, and Canada will shoot from the edge of the box comfortably over the crossbar. I think that was Saliba with the final touch. Goal kick to Wales.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do. The opportunity was there. He's just trying to open his body up and bend it right foot for that far left corner of Adam Davis, but again got it all wrong, too much on it.
If you're looking for the evening show, it's a night off tonight for this live international football. So that's back tomorrow on BBC Radio Wales at the normal time from 7. Al Lewis in for Bronwyn Lewis. This is Wales 0, Canada 0. Wales give it away on the halfway line. And Cruz is beaten to it in midfield. This is David with the socks rolled down. Lovely ball into the penalty area. He checks back inside though. Perhaps they could have had a shot. This is Buchanan. Caressed cross is headed away by Wales. James does ever so well to get to the loose ball and then keep hold of it. Never looked like he had it under control. Loose from Nico Williams. Wales can't keep hold of it. Canada charge into the box, and it's off the inside of the post and ricochets wide. It'll be kept in by the corner flag. Canada should have gone 1-0 ahead there. Wales lucky to escape. Still the pressure is on. The Fougerolles back towards Cornelius, a centre-half before Wales do pinch it. Wilson leads them on the counter-attack. And the toe down the line from Brooks is just going to be gobbled up by the white shirts. They're knocking on the door already, Canada, inside just 9 minutes,
Great
Nathan
play,
and Danny.
though. Great play down this right-hand side with Kone. And this time, he decides to take the shot. It's just inside the 18-yard box, maybe 14 yards out on the angle, right-hand side. And he does Davis, all ends up. But luckily for Davis, his post is there to save him. A good play again.
And really here they come again.
Up.
Buchanan on the near right. They're all over Wales. To the byline, into the penalty area. Pulls it back and it dribbles across the penalty area. And eventually Davis picks it up. Every time they come forward in the last few minutes, Danny Gabidon, they look like they're going to score, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it comes a lot from us actually giving the ball away. It's where we need to be better. We're looking to kind of play out and we're turning the ball over. We're not looking after the ball well enough against a high-pressing team, and then they're into you straight away, Canada. You know, Jonathan David, just watching him in the opening few minutes, and he's just dropping into some really nice pockets of space. He's getting turned, and then he's just slipping those balls down the side of the two Wales centre-backs, and I think tonight the transition is going to be important kind of for both teams, that kind of turnover of possession. You know, Canada lightning fast on the counter-attack, and You know, we've had one or two moments ourselves as well when we've been able to win the ball back.
Wales in possession. The score 0-0. 10 minutes have been played here on BBC Radio Wales. We're also on the BBC Sounds app on your smartphone or tablet, as well as on 5 Sports Extra 2. This is Jordan James to Dan James. Into the box. Shot is parried by the goalkeeper, and the white Canadian shirts will scramble it away. Cabango pinches it on the halfway line.
It was a good effort by James, kind of straight at St. Clair. Look, St. Clair's handling there. He's got to push that wide left, surely. Push it straight back into the penalty spot.
Both teams with chances, though.
Yeah, it's good players.
Davis
Jordan
Long
James.
looking for Wilson if he can pick it down. This is a chance. Into the box he comes. Is he brought down? Referee has a long look and doesn't flinch. That one far from convincing as much as the Canadian penalty shout was. And there's now a Canada player down, incidentally, off the ball. And again, no protest from anyone in red, as Wilson was sent sprawling on that wet turf in the penalty area to our left-hand side.
It's a fantastic crossfield ball. Wilson making that run in behind off the back of Cornelius, and gets the ball down inside the 18-yard box, and just thought maybe he could have chested it maybe down onto his right foot to get the strike away, but he brings it down, and then he's looking to almost turn back into Cornelius, and he actually nutmegs him. A little bit of contact, but I don't think there's enough. Wilson not able to kind of get the other side of him. He's looking for the penalty, but probably not enough contact for me. Certainly if the Ronan Capaccio
like
was
a
not
true
given.
Defender, Daddy. Like a true
Defenders Union.
defender.
You'd be shouting for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that was a penalty all day.
You think?
Yeah. Wow. Even if it wasn't, I'd say it was, Dad. Strikers Union.
0-0.
I think he just levelled it up, to be honest with the referee.
It looked that way, didn't it? Certainly did.
I'll repeat, there is no VAR or goal line technology in operation here this evening. This is a test for Capaccio, who let it bounce. It's an awful header, and Cabango has to get his long legs to get it back, and it's over the bar for the first corner of the game, and he's letting Ronan Capaccio know that's not how you deal with those.
Yeah, and it's really good by Cabango to get there first and foremost, but then just to liven Capaccio up, because he's obviously
nervy.
he had a bit of a pop, and then got up, patted on the back and told him, almost senior pro to junior pro, you know, just liven up, can't afford that.
Well, the bar's been set for the Cardiff City Wales debuts after Dylan Lawler on Thursday. Corners taken short for Canada. They're just outside the penalty area on the near right here. Every Wales player inside the box. In comes the cross, and Capaccio has won the header. It gets to the edge of the box before Brooks with a little nutmeg is away, and he's still going. He's taken out just outside the centre circle, and that will be a yellow card for Richie Laria, who was the last defender, but there's plenty of white shirts rushing back. A yellow card suffices.
Yeah, it's brilliant play, David Brooks, as that ball kind of gets cleared from the corner, picks the ball up on the edge of the box and just driving up the field, goes past one man, and then the rear comes across, and I think David Brooks knows if he can just get a foot to it first, and the contact's going to come in and he's going to be able to draw the foul. Brilliant play though, because he's all on his own there, David Brooks. He's got no support and does really well to skip past a couple of players and draw the foul.
David Brooks, one of 8 changes to the Wales starting 11 tonight. Although considering how long the trip was to Kazakhstan, as Nathan Blake will no doubt tell us all about, it's perhaps no surprise that so few who played on Thursday play again tonight. Canada on the attack once more with Buchanan, fresh off the back of a 3-0 win in Bucharest against Romania. Some fancy footwork, but eventually Wales get the throw in the left back position, and Nico Williams will take, who now has a new club manager, of course, at Nottingham Forest after the changes over the last few days. Nuno Espirito Santo departs after 3 games, and Ange Postecoglou is the new Nottingham Forest manager.
Tell me the Premier League isn't waiting for that second season.
Well, he always wins something in year 2. Wales with a throw. Nico Williams In no hurry to take it. Thankfully the rain has not returned. Before the game it absolutely bucketed down. Since the players came out for the start of the match, it has stayed dry. There's a bit of a breeze in the air as well. Half a dozen flags actually in the black and white seats behind the goal where Wales are attacking to our left are being blown in different directions. And this is Ben Cabango for Wales, the Swansea captain, to the Welsh one, to Ben Davies up towards the halfway line. Williams on the near left in front of Craig Bellamy, who continues to prowl around that technical area as Cabango plays it forward. And this is Capaccio, his international debut, just 18 years old, one of a number of those young players who've really made an impression in the Cardiff team so far this season. Wales having a prolonged spell of possession. They're going absolutely nowhere with it at the moment. Crew to Williams, back to Ben Davies, all on the edge of their own penalty area. The goalkeeper Adam Davies. Wales just trying to get a foothold in the game because Canada have sprinted forward at every opportunity. Davies goes long looking for Dan James. The flag has stayed down for now. James gets to the ball and holds it up on the edge of the box on this near left, tries to nip in between two, and he's just shoved off the ball by Ishmael Kone, who's a huge individual in midfield, but he does battle back and win the throw, which Wales take quickly to Jordan James.
Segura needs to be careful, doesn't he? Because that's 2 or 3 times now Dan James has got in behind him. His anticipation is all wrong. Doesn't know whether to get tight or stay in his back line. I would suggest he stay in his back line.
And plenty of these Canadian players, as Nico Williams gets the foul, play their football in Europe. Jonathan David had mentioned at Juventus, a couple of Villarreal players. Saliba in midfield, plays for Anderlecht. And Jesse Marsh, as we know, a former Leeds United manager. This is Ben Davies. Cabango, all on the halfway line. Out to Brooks on the far left. Wales played much of the game in the middle third. And what is the opening 18 minutes is given away by Mark Harris. Canada spring forward. This is Oluwaseyi. Back in midfield to Saliba. And now it's walking pace midway in the Wales half. Everyone in red is back behind the ball. The band sense the home fans need a bit of encouragement as Canada creep wide on the far left. Davies has to head it into the ground on the edge of the penalty area. Kone then nips in, picks the pocket of the 2 Welsh midfielders. Canada on top so far. And that's a strong challenge on Harris. A fair one, says the referee. Out to Buchanan. Corner of the penalty area near right. Goes backwards and sideways, doesn't throw it into that penalty area. Saliba with the long hair, and Canada playing keep ball now.
Yeah, they're much improved. Danny made a great point earlier about their opening games in competition in the World Cup, and I just think they're so much better. They are so patient as well.
Cross into the box, it's towed away that time by David Brooks for Wales. Is that a foul on the far side? Referee's playing advantage because the white shirts of Canada have the ball, and now they're going to stop the game because the Canadian player on the far side has stayed down. But right now this is proving to be every bit as difficult a test as Craig Bellamy was hinting yesterday in his press conference that it might be. 20 minutes played, it's 0-0.
Yeah, well, they got less changes than us. Right? We've made 8 changes. Danny made a point earlier, continuity, rhythm, just off the back of a really good win against Romania. So everything in their favour, really, Canada. I think what Wales have got is a bench they can look at and look to bring on some of their stars if later on they need them.
Argentina, the Netherlands and Mexico are the only nations to beat Canada in the last 22 months, and all of them are ranked inside the world's top 13. Such has been the progression of Canadian football. We're back underway, by the way. It is Wales 0, Canada 0 at the Swansea.com stadium. You're listening to BBC Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2. It's inside the Wales half. Buchanan hugging this near touchline, saunters forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Kone, so many white shirts, always an option available for Jesse Marsh's side. They work it to the opposite side, wide to the far left. Slid down the line towards Saliba, chased by Crew. He's able to get the ball away. So they look incredibly well drilled, these Canadian players, and then there's a follow through as Wales clear, and they'll get the free kick. Harry Wilson, the man felled, and this is 10 yards or so outside the Welsh penalty area.
Yeah, and I like the way Ahmed and Buchanan just hold the flanks, really patient, rely on their men in midfield and up front, keep the ball, and they're moving it 1-2 touch from one side of the park to the other, but not long switch of play. These short, sharp passes really causing Wales a problem, dragging them into wide, deep positions.
That's the voice of the former Wales striker Nathan Blake. Alongside me here in the commentary box, Danny Gabardon, as well, a survivor from the Wales team when these two nations last played in Wrexham in May 2004, when that Paul Parry goal was enough to give Wales the victory.
Clean sheet, yeah? Didn't get many of them. You sure I played?
Craig Bellamy was in the team as well that day. Wales just trying to get a foothold. They're happy to have a bit of possession. We're at the midway point in the first half. It is 0-0. Canada have hit the inside of the Wales post. We've had David Brooks miss the ball completely when he had the freedom of the Canadian penalty area.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Wales to work out that they're 3v2 in midfield. And if they can get Crow on the ball half turn, they've got Jordan James and Harry Wilson up against one midfielder. So when the centre backs is going to have to come out, then you make a diagonal run in behind him, stretch the game.
I think it's an interesting one to look at, Blakey, because just Wales on the attack here.
Been trying to draw Canada out, sort of succeeded. Here's Wilson wide on the right, plenty of shirts in the box. This is Brooks, he pulls it back to the edge of the penalty, and Nico Williams trying to get there. He wasn't the favourite for the ball, and Buchanan will clear for Canada with the benefit of setting up here. It was probably the wrong pass. Everyone went to the near post, he pulled it back to the edge of the penalty area.
I think it's an interesting one in terms of our build-up tonight, because as we said, most teams now don't really play with two centre-forwards. So what Canada are doing, there's two centre-forwards, they're kind of stopping those passing lanes into midfield. We're finding it quite difficult to play the ball into midfield. So, you know, we need to be patient. We've got to move it left and right and try and move those two strikers about and then free up that spear man in the midfield. But at the minute, Canada, those two centre-forwards, they just kind of sat off.
They're working Crew and they're doing really well.
And making it difficult for Charlie Crew to get on the ball. You know, that's what we want. We want to get our six on the ball. That's what Craig Bellamy likes, but Charlie Crew not quite able to find that space.
It's a great test, right? Because when you come against better opposition, they do it even better again. So how do you make the space? How do you get the triangles going when the team you're up against are well drilled or as well drilled as Canada are? It's another book in there, Mark, I think.
David Brooks booked for a challenge off the ball on Richie Laria. Tell me this is a friendly. He was waving the old imaginary card after that off-the-ball challenge from the Wales player who goes into the book. All the officials are from England this evening in the yellow shirts. And it will be a Canada free kick midway inside their own half. The score is 0-0. As As it is in Belgrade in the World Cup qualifier, Serbia against England. Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal are 1-0 down away to Hungary. No action in Wales's Group J tonight. After they beat Kazakhstan on Thursday, we've seen some very big wins for North Macedonia and Belgium, who play each other in Ghent on the next match day on October the 10th. Wales will go to Wembley to play England the day before. The next qualifier is a big one in Cardiff. Wales v Belgium on October the 13th. That will be a match that will be live on BBC Radio Wales.
I think it'll be a good atmosphere.
Full stadium?
Absolutely.
It will be bouncing that night, whatever the weather. Canada stroll forward. And they found the angle again to the byline. Oh, it's absolutely skinned. Crew into the box, fires it across goal. It misses everyone, attackers and defenders alike. And it's a throw in to Wales by the corner flag.
Who was that who just got sent for a hot dog?
Charlie Crew, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lovely play on the byline there.
It was
shot
brilliant.
back.
Yeah.
Then
He had to pay to get back in, I think.
I thought it was The Apprentice going to get fish and chips for 20 players like back in the day.
The end product not so good though in the end. Neither a cross or a shot really, was it? Just flashed it across the 6-yard box there.
Canada looking accomplished. Why so few teams have beaten them. And why they certainly can't be underestimated at the World Cup next year. They'll be playing their group matches in Vancouver and Toronto.
I really like the kind of the intensity. We know they're an athletic team. I really like the intensity that they play with. Runners off the ball, overlaps, and they get to the byline. Two good wide players as well, and they work really hard for each other. And I think, as Blakey said as well, they look a little bit more kind of organised, a bit more balanced from what you've seen in the World Cup, where they were very cavalier, throwing kind of bodies forward and looking to attack and score goals, and then kind of getting picked off the other end. They look like there's a bit more kind of balance and a bit more organisation to them.
Canada eliminated in the group stage in Qatar, losing all their matches. It's their first World Cup in 36 years. Wales have qualified for 3 of the past 5 tournaments as they get a free kick through Capaccio just over the halfway line. They would dearly love to make it 4 out of 6. Only the group winners will qualify automatically. And the tiebreaker for teams level on points is goal difference, not head-to-head record. Already Wales behind in that regard to both North Macedonia and Belgium. Still a lot of football to be played. But with that Nations League playoff in their back pocket, they will at the very least, you would imagine, be in the playoffs in March. Canada throw on a damp evening in West Wales. And Canada strolling about at the moment, as they have done for much of the opening 29 minutes on BBC Radio Wales. The deadlock unbroken though.
Yeah, it's a really competitive game. But you do feel both teams could probably step up, maybe 1-2 levels at least.
Now Wilson has given it away, although the referee's brought it back for a foul. Little shove by Oliver Shea of Villarreal. And Wales take it quickly. And again, it's walking pace as they try and draw Canada out. They're not taking the bait at the moment, and Wales are having to go all the way back to their goalkeeper, Adam Davis, who's put under pressure. High-risk play, but Cruz with a timely pass is given away by Capaccio. Canada spring forward to the edge of the penalty area. This is Jonathan David. Threads it through for Saliba, but the red shirts were on the spot and did enough to make him scuff the cross, but they can only scramble it out of play for a throw on the halfway line far left.
I think what's evident, Mark, is if you play a 4-4-2 and you've got a striker or two that can work in unison and drop in deep, it can really cause a lot of problems, because at the moment, every time Crewe is getting the ball or getting to Jordan James, they're having to go back, and then the next pass should be forward, right, from the midfielder or the fullback, but they're having to go backwards again because everyone is closed down. Canada doing really well, forcing Wales into balls that they don't really want to play, or they're intercepting them.
It's long from Adam Davis, and that's given away by Canada. A rare mistake, an unforced error. Nico Williams, though, can't find Mark Harris, and it's back to Dane Sinclair in goal with the long bleached blonde hair, green socks pulled up over the knees, and the short sleeve shirt. And as he's done quite often actually this evening, the Canada goalkeeper, he's passed it straight downfield to his opposite number in black, Adam Davis. We've now played 31 minutes, nothing on the two giant colour scoreboards at either corner of the Swansea.com stadium. Ben Davis crossfield pass is collected by Brooks, wide on the far right. He's looking for the return run of Capaccio, but it's well scouted by Laria.
Oh wow.
And Capaccio is adjudged to have shoved Laria in the back. The fans on the side don't agree with that one, and neither does Nathan Blake alongside me.
I just thought he fell over. He literally, it wasn't a push in the back. He just almost like he slipped. Oh, the referee is giving a yellow card to Wilson too.
Two Wales players in the book.
Yeah, I think Harry's probably having a go, saying, what have you seen there? Because the linesman's like 8-10 yards away and he hasn't flagged at all.
And to give a foul for that, and then Capaccio, the incident, the talking point, adjudged not to have conceded a penalty very early on, although replays do not do him any favours. It's 0-0. This is Dan James in the centre circle. Wales all in red, going from right to left in a very damp and dark Swansea.com stadium. Mark Harris trying to flick it round the corner. Might turn out to be half a decent ball for Brooks, but Laria races across. He's public enemy number one and just shepherds it out for a throw.
Ahmed and Buchanan, so disciplined, the wide boys. As soon as Wales get possession, they're tucking in and almost making it a 4v3 in midfield, closing any central lines that Wales are trying to play through, forcing them to go out wide, but Wales haven't really exploited that enough yet.
Well, Wales thought that one went out of play. Kone kept it in. This is David shuffling forward. Dan James racing back. He gets it out to Buchanan in the box on the near right side. Pulls it back to the edge of the box once more. David tries to shuffle it, and they tried to be too intricate. There did Canada, and Wales were able to pinch it. And can Craig Bellamy's team counter-attack? Nico Williams opts not to go long, and it's back towards the goalkeeper. They keep playing the short passes, and they keep playing it well. Crewe, Capaccio's in space. They've worked this really nicely of Wales over the halfway line. Wilson out to Brooks, back to Capaccio, and every Canadian player is back behind the ball now. England have gone 1-0 up in Serbia. Harry Kane, they are Wales's next opponents at Wembley on October the 9th, and we will be following them to London as well here on BBC Radio Wales. We have 11 minutes left to half-time here in Swansea. Is anyone going to break the deadlock before the interval in this international friendly, the first friendly of Craig Bellamy's reign after all the Nations League matches? Is that surely a foul on Harry Wilson, not given by the referee? And then was he impeded? Wilson, referee couldn't have been better placed and said no. Canada are able to get up to the halfway line. Wales get it back. Here come the red shirts. Dan James on the near left. Great run inside by Williams. Decent move this before it's cleared by the defenders. Canada have pinched it, and the referee's going to bring it back for a foul on Ben Davies. Canada were away, and they're not happy, Wales, with Buchanan, who shot from the halfway line, and the referee is going to caution the Villarreal midfielder, Tajon Buchanan.
He's having a Lionel Blair, I have to say. Robert Jones, I'll take it, but he's having a shocker of a game. Absolute shocker.
I'm not sure he was expecting it to be as lively as this, though, was he? He's come here thinking, it's only a friendly game.
Yeah.
Won't really be any tackles, but he's dishing out yellow cards.
And there's a yellow card for Jesse Marsh as well.
Oh,
Robert. What's the Canadian for a Lionel Blair, I wonder? Whatever he was saying. But to be fair, they should have had a penalty, and he's obviously unhappy with that. So this is not just that decision.
No, but, the decision, he's given a free kick for Wales against Canada there. The striker gets the toe on the ball and gets it round the corner. That's why the spin of the ball goes in the direction as it does. And Canada are away, and then he gives a free kick. Listen, I'm glad he gave a free kick because we were struggling, but there's no way it's a free kick. He's got there first, and yes, the players have collided, but that sometimes happens.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit with the intensity of the game. To be fair, the tackles have been flying in.
Yes,
it's been competitive, and he's got 2 or 3 of them wrong.
Yeah, he's on a beach somewhere. He just got back off holiday, clearly.
Some curious calls, to say the least, as Nathan Blake and Danny Gavidon were discussing there. In comes the Wales free kick. Cabango heads across goal. Canada are able to pick up the loose ball, and they're looking for the counter-attack, but Jordan James is doing really well to prevent that. Offside. And surely this is offside. The referee gives it without the assistant even sticking his flag up. But it went out for a throw. It went out.
Oh, okay.
I'll let him off. It's given away by Crew in midfield. And there's another yellow card, this time for Crew. Late challenge. At least he had judged it on Buchanan.
Understand the game, referee. You just put yourself in an awkward position now because you're going to have to send people off if there's a mistimed tackle. All right, there's no animosity in the game. It's physical. It's good tempo. 2 good teams. Lots of youngsters on the pitch. The referee is just putting himself in a real difficult position.
5 yellow cards in the first 37 minutes. 3 for Wales, 2 for Canada. It's 0-0 as England double their lead in Serbia. 2-0. Madueke with the second goal. Is anyone going to score here before half-time? Back heel down the line, the far left. And plenty of white shirts in the box. It's too far from David. Wales never got a hold of it. This is David, and Jordan James knocks it out of play for a second Canadian corner.
And he's just got to try and clear his lines there. Capaccio. Dangerous ball in, which was a difficult one to kind of deal with, and it just drops down to the 18-yard box. He's trying to be a little bit too clever, and struggled a little bit this first half. And those kind of moments, if you've had a couple of difficult moments, just do the basics, clear lines, and don't take any chances.
Corner will come in from the far left. There's 4 white shirts in the 6-yard box, 2 on the penalty spot. It's towards the near post, and it's headed against the Wales crossbar. Flicked on at the near post. Adam Davies was nowhere near it. David picks it up on the near right. Low cross into the box. Stooping header away by Cabango. It's nice footwork from Wilson, and Wales might counter. Looking for the run of Brooks, who's popped up on the near left. And a lovely back heel from David as Canada get it back. All the tricks are coming out. Buchanan's onside by a mile here on the near right. Towards the byline. Across comes Nico Williams. Makes a really good challenge and clears. Just coming straight back. In midfield, it's Saliba again. He's bundled over 10 yards outside the penalty area in a central position. But Canada go close again.
Not quite sure how this is still 0-0. We've had our moments as well in this first half, but Canada certainly have looked the more dangerous, created the better chances there. Will Darwin runs to that kind of near post area from the corner that came in. Good firm header, just looks like it's going to nestle in that kind of far corner, comes off the top of the crossbar.
It's Figueroas, wasn't it? The centre back.
Yeah.
It's a lovely flick. Beautiful. Just seeing him dip his head, just let it skim off. Like Danny says, he's trying to drop it in the far corner, just hits the crossbar.
5 minutes left of the first half. It's ever so slightly to the right of centre. Derek Cornelius of Rangers has been standing over the ball very deliberately. All his teammates walk away now. It's going to be the centre half who's going to crack it. We've got Wales player laid down behind the four-man wall. Up he comes left-footed. It's an absolute peach over the wall and into the bottom corner. What a goal by Cornelius, and it gives Canada the lead in Swansea. 1-0.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta stand up and give a little round of applause for some absolute fantastic quality. I'm questioning why a centre half is taking the free kick. Well, he's just rammed it down my throat. That's why he's taking the free kick. An absolutely superb finish, I have to say. Left-footed, over the wall, dipping, with pace, curling, and leaves Davis with absolutely no chance.
Absolutely outstanding. Technically brilliant. It was just that kind of distance that allows you to get it up and over the wall. Still had a lot to do, Cornelius, and did it fantastically well. Up over the wall, absolutely no chance for Adam Davis, and you probably have to say they deserve that, Canada.
Yeah,
looked the more dangerous team.
Yeah, and when the midfielders and strikers started to walk away from the free kick, I did start to think, aye, this lad might have a bit about him.
You ever scored one like that, Danny?
Not in the top corner, but I've scored a free kick as a centre-back for Cardiff City.
That was in the under-10.
I knew that was coming.
I'll dig it out on Google some of you later, mate.
Wales are 1-0 down. And that small band of red and white shirted Canadian supporters are thoroughly enjoying their night in Swansea all of a sudden.
They're a good team.
To half time.
They're a really good team, I have to say. Like I said, they look like they got a gear or two left in them as well.
Wales trying to equalise straight away. Dan James to Jordan James, gets it back, and they just play one pass too many. Crew has given it away, and it will actually ricochet out to Brooks wide on the far right. He scurries infield, cross in towards the penalty area. The white shirts are there, and they look like they've got all the time in the world. Canada so much more composed on the ball. Here's James for Wales. Williams deep in Canada territory by the corner flag. It actually hits the corner flag. A throw only for Wales as they try and equalise before half-time. As Nathan Blake was saying, that Canadian goal thoroughly deserved. They've been the better side. They've been hugely impressive in this first half here on BBC Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2.
Yeah,
free kick on Cabango.
In fairness to Wales, though, they are playing like a team who've made 8 changes. Right, so
I just travelled back from Castillo.
Yeah, you have to put that in the mix, and it's not an excuse. It's fact, right? Made 8 changes. You're not going to have the rhythm that you would have had you played the same or similar team that played out in Kazakhstan. It's as simple as that. So it's understandable. That's why Canada in such a good rhythm, because, like Danny said earlier, they don't make many changes.
Only 3 in the Canadian side. By the way, Portugal have equalised in Hungary, Bernardo Silva, and France 0, Iceland 1, a latest score. Those are World Cup qualifiers. This is a friendly. Wales 1-0 down. And we're inside the final minute of normal time as Wilson curls this into the penalty. Davis heads across goal, and it got stuck under the feet of Crew, but the referee's given a foul. I think against Ben Davis for the leap, and it's a Canadian free kick. All eyes on the 4th official as he comes forward with the board.
No, I'm not sure about that as well. I think he just gets up early, makes that run on the far post. Ben Davis, he just gets up above the defender. He's up earlier than him. Inevitable contact, and very lucky to get a free kick there, Canada. I think Craig Bellamy will half be pleased with this, though. not obviously pleased with the scoreline, but this is exactly what he wanted. This is exactly the type of game that he wanted. We spoke about it before the game. It's been high intensity, tackles have been flying in.
And you've got to learn to handle duress, right, Dan? It's okay saying we're attack-minded, but you're going to come up against teams who are better than you. They're going to keep the ball better. So you've got to learn to handle playing under duress.
2 minutes of added time, which we're into now. Wales behind by 1-0. And they'll be under certain duress for the rest of the qualifying campaign, certainly when Belgium come to town. We've still got North Macedonia to play at home as well in the final match, and it very well may come down, qualification, to that final match day. We will be with Wales every step of the way in Group J, qualifying here on BBC Radio Wales, your team for Welsh sport. For the moment, it's Canada who are having their way, leading by 1-0. One of the 2 added minutes has gone. And Wales have the ball. Cruz giving it away again. Thought he had loads of time, and then he has pocket pinched by Ali Ahmed of Vancouver. Gets it down the line, far left, looking for David. Cabango slides it out for a Canadian throw, level with the edge of the penalty area.
Really intelligent player, Jonathan David. Just watching him this first half, where we spoke about the brilliant job he's doing with his fellow centre forward in terms of kind of pressing as a front two, but when they win the ball then he's the one that kind of drops into that 10 position, and he's got a fantastic kind of relationship with those 2 wide men. He just offers himself all the time, and he's the guy that kind of links those attacks together. Really intelligent player.
I was going to say the final attack is a long throw, but it's spun out of his hands over on that far side, and then they bundle it into the box. It's a bit of a mess, and it's a goal kick to Wales. There's no time to take it. There is the half-time whistle. Wales behind at home to a very impressive Canadian team. The goal coming, a free kick from the centre half, Derek Cornelius, who cracked it over the wall and into the top corner. It's a high-intensity friendly, and after making 8 changes, Wales currently on the wrong end of it. At half-time in Swansea, it is Wales 0, Canada 1.
Yet I guess now we know why Craig Bellamy saw that Canada might be available for a friendly and said, yeah, fancy playing them. They have looked pretty decent, haven't they, in that first half. Classy side, good side, technically very good. And Wales 1-0 down at the break as they head back into the changing rooms. You are with BBC Radio Wales and BBC Sounds, and Nathan Blake and Danny Gabardon admiring, I suppose, some of the football. I'm not sure we've quite had the intensity that Craig Bellamy was looking for, Nathan, but it's certainly been intriguing, hasn't it? And not much you could do about a free kick like that.
No, absolutely. Listen, it's absolutely superb, the goal. But, you know, I think... looking at Canada, if I was watching them now, I'd be saying, you know, I'd be looking at Segura on the right back. He's the player who, you know, looks the weakest link to me. Looks like you can get at him. If you're Dan James, you can, you know, get him behind him a few times, which Wales have done. He's switched off or he's been too high. But all in all, you'd say Canada, very, very good team, well organised, wide men doing their job, both on offensive positions, great, taking up really wide positions, and then when they're defending, they tuck in right in, so don't allow Wales any space down through the middle. It's really causing the middle 3 for Wales a problem. So, you know, lots of good things, but it's a great test for Wales, right? You're 1-0 down at home now. What can you do? Can you come out second half? Might make changes, might not, but can you come out second half, step it up, and really, you know, at least get on level par with this group of Canadian players? Because right now you would say, you know, Wales are lucky to go in 1-0 down.
Yeah, and sometimes it is the defenders who strike the dead ball the best, Danny. I'm still trying to find that goal you claim you scored for Cardiff City.
Yeah, have you got a VHS?
Don't underestimate us, Hunty. Don't underestimate us.
Yeah, I mean, at times, I think, as you said in commentary, it does look like it's a kind of a new team, doesn't it, out there, just trying to get to know each other. Almost like a Wrexham, isn't it? You know, all those new faces in that Wrexham side, and they're trying to get to know each other, not quite on each other's wavelengths.
Yeah, I think you can see that kind of team harmony hasn't always been there. I think we've actually not done too bad that first half, considering the amount of changes. You have to give credit to Canada as well. we can all play when teams kind of drop off and you're given time and space to operate. But this Canadian team, they don't allow you to do that. They're high intensity. They press from the front. They look for that ball to kind of go into midfield, and then they step in with aggression, and then they're off on the counter-attack. And at times we've kind of struggled to keep hold of the ball. We struggled to kind of play those balls through the lines. We've had a little bit of joy when we've gone a little bit more direct, in particular Daniel James down this kind of left-hand side. And it's been a really good test. Like we said, we heard the manager speak before the game. He knows the quality that Canada have. He knows how they like to play. And like I said, I think there's a lot of traits in this Canada team which kind of Craig Bellamy wants to implement into his team, in terms of kind of the intensity that they play with and the way they kind of break and counter-attack and how kind of organised they are. And, we're still in that kind of building process. We're still trying to get better at all these things. So I think, like Craig said, if we were to play a lesser kind of quality team, what would we really kind of get out of it? Not too much. I think we've shown over the last kind of 9-10 years that we're pretty good and pretty adept at beating teams of a lesser standard. But this is the level we got to try and kind of get to, and the kind of intensity we got to try and play at, which isn't easy. So it's been a really good test for us.
OK, 9 Wales subs warming up at the moment. We'll see if any of them make it onto the field for the second half. We'll be back with Nathan and Danny and Mark for second half commentary. We'll round up the rest of today's sports news shortly, because there's plenty going on. England, by the way, 2-0 up in their qualifier in Serbia. But let's get the latest BBC Radio Wales news, travel and weather before all of that with Olivia Grist.
This is Radio Wales on BBC Sounds, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Wales.
BBC News for Wales with me, Olivia Grist. Good evening. The White House has said an Israeli strike on the Qatari capital Doha hasn't advanced America's or Israel's goal of eliminating Hamas. Israel says the strike targeted the group's senior leadership, who were thought to have been holding a meeting to discuss the latest Gaza ceasefire proposal. The former MasterChef presenter Greg Wallace is suing the BBC over a data protection claim. Court documents have been filed at the High Court, but the BBC said it had not been formally notified. Mr Wallace was fired in July after a report upheld more than 40 allegations about his conduct on the cooking programme, but he denies any wrongdoing. A man has admitted killing his wife at her home in Bridgend. 48-year-old Tracy Davis was found dead at the property in Kevin Kruber in April. 56-year-old Michael Davis pleaded guilty to manslaughter but denied murder on the grounds of diminished responsibility. And a review of the response to last winter's storms called for an overhaul of the financial and mental health support available to local residents. Storms Bert and Dara exposed what the Senedd Environment Committee said were critical gaps in emergency payments and insurance cover for those affected. Our environment correspondent Stefan Messenger reports.
Storms Bert and Dara battered Wales at the end of last year, causing widespread damage. The Welsh Government and some local authorities issued emergency grants of £500 and £1,000 to affected households, with additional support for businesses. But today's report says the payments fell far short of addressing the disruption caused to people's lives, while many struggled to access flood insurance too. Local authorities, meanwhile, faced huge repair bills, but were hampered by limited budgets and unclear responsibilities for maintaining culverts and drainage systems. The Welsh Government thanked the Senedd's Environment Committee for a comprehensive report and said it would respond to the recommendations in due course.
That's the BBC News for Wales. Are next at 10.
BBC Radio Wales Travel.
And a very good evening to you. My name is Johnny Ratner. Just watching the Traffic Wales cameras, I can see they've closed the eastbound carriageway of the M48, the Severn Bridge, the original crossing, heading out of Wales into England. It's as the overnight roadworks get underway, scheduled to reopen the Litchard Primary School. And if you're heading for the trains, T-Glass Station stays closed on the City Line, affecting Transport for Wales services for the major works till May next year. And that's the very latest from BBC Radio Wales Travel.
BBC Radio Wales weather.
As we head further into the night then, southern areas will see this evening's rain clear to scattered showers along with variable cloud. Northern areas will be mostly cloudy with a chance of 1 or 2 showers though, with lows of between 11 to 14 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow will cloud over again along with scattered showers pushing in from the west, these quite widespread in the afternoon. Feeling breezy with highs of between 13 to 16 degrees Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Your team for Welsh sport. BBC Radio Wales Sport.
Very good evening, welcome back to Radio Wales Sport. It's live international football from the Swansea.com stadium as Wales face one of next year's World Cup hosts. And Canada, well, they've upset their hosts tonight.
Duffy comes left-footed. It's an absolute peach! Over the wall and into the bottom corner. What a goal by Cornelius! And it gives Canada the lead in Swansea. 1-0.
This is BBC Radio Wales Sport.
With Ian Hunt.
Yeah, real cracker of a goal from the defender, Derek Cornelius, to give Canada a 1-0 lead here at half-time. You're with Radio Wales, BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2. Good to have your company this evening. Let's go through some of the other World Cup qualifiers going on because there are plenty taking place tonight. In Group D, full-time score, Azerbaijan 1, Ukraine 1. France 1, Iceland 1 at half-time. Group F, meanwhile, the Republic of Ireland losing 2-1 away to Armenia to leave the bottom of that group. But the new Swan striker, Adam Idah, coming off the bench for the Irish and getting an assist. Of course, he will be in action here at the weekend. Swansea's home game live on Radio Wales Sport. Hungary 1, Portugal 1 as a half-time score. Hungary had taken the lead, but Bernardo Silva with the equaliser for Portugal. In Group H, half-time scores, Bosnia 0, Austria 0, Romania 2-1 up in Cyprus. In Group I, Norway leading Moldova 5-0 at half-time. A first-half hat-trick for Haaland and one for Odegaard. And in Group K, as we said, England 2-0 up in Serbia at half-time. Harry Kane and Madueke with the goals. Of course, Wales play England next at Wembley next month. And it's Albania 1, Latvia 0 in the other game in that group. Reflections on last night, and Wales under-21s getting their Euro 2027 qualifying campaign underway with a big defeat against Denmark. They lost 6-2 at Ronnie Parade in Newport, despite starting really well. Matty Jones' side leading 2-0, but then one Danish goal before half-time and 5 in the second half. Saw the Danes cruise to victory in the end. Wales next host Belgium on the 10th of October before travelling to Austria 4 days later with Belarus, the other opponents in their pool. Let's get some reflection on that result from the boss, Matty Jones.
We've spoken a lot recently about the excitement of our young talent, and that was definitely on display for 45 minutes. We're playing to a level where the demands are really high, set not only by Craig Bellamy but ourselves as well. You know, the principles, the behaviours, the habits that you've seen first half were fantastic. I think the importance now is how we sustain that, how we continue to maintain that level of quality and high energy performance for 90 minutes.
Those who haven't seen the game might look at the scoreline and wince, but they missed something, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's a wonderful game to witness. I got to accept and take the embarrassment of the defeat, but my message to everyone is the performance. There were moments in that game accepted by certain individuals and small groups that I've spoken to already with the players that we're hanging on to because there's something really to be excited for. Now, of course, the scoreline's not going to highlight that to anybody. And we've got to understand why that happened, by the way. And just to give you an idea, is that when you have a 1 or 2 goal disadvantage, you have to open yourselves up and to go to a single pivot and have our fullbacks playing higher on the top line and, you know, throwing everyone on. And, you know, there's a lot happening in an erratic state of mind for every player. But I felt we controlled it well. But the danger is you open yourself up to conceding more, and that's what happened.
Matty Jones trying to find positives amidst that 6-2 defeat last night for the Wales under-21s. Right, we're a few minutes away from the second half here at the Swansea.com with Wales trailing Canada 1-0. We can hear from the Wales women's head coach, who of course has strong Canada connections. Rhian Wilkinson is here this evening. Let's hear from her.
Well, Rhian, we've just seen a reprise of the summer. It was a hugely historic summer for Wales women, but you were really honest in your assessment after that England game. I remember you saying you felt you were outclassed and you were outcoached. Now you've had a few months to look back. How do you reflect on the Euros in the summer?
so much to take away from it. It was a really tough tournament. I think we saw the difference. We're not there yet, but having qualified, putting Wales on the map, the young people across this country that are going to have seen that, and yeah, they're frustrated, as we all are. We want to make sure that we're performing on the world stage, but I'm really proud of what we've done, and I'm really excited to try and close that gap now.
We heard Angharad James there as well say Wales will be back stronger. So how do you move forward now? How do you rebuild? Because we are at the start of a new cycle now, aren't we?
I'm really happy that once I came back from the Euros, I toured across Wales. I got into the communities. I saw the effect of the Euros, and that can't be played down. It was massive, but we want more, and that's what I wanted from this experience. Is we went there, we were found wanting, and we want it, and that's something I'm really excited about. And I've spent this last month, and I've got another month as well to build and to get excited and to put something together that hopefully drives this team on.
You say about building with this team. Arguably, this Wales women's team is in a bit of a period of transition. We saw in the summer Kayleigh Barton, a very experienced player, retire. Going forward now, will you look to use more of those younger players and expose them, or will we see those experienced players still get minutes for Wales?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This will be a transitional period, and that's something exciting. We blooded a lot of our young players. We do that a lot. We see that here with the men as well. There's benefits to being a small country. We move players through. We'll always rely on our experience, but we need to have new blood, new youth coming through, and it looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, really good to hear from Rhian Wilkinson. I think that's the first time we've really heard from her since the Euros. Wales, of course, not getting out of the group stages. Here to watch her country tonight. Big star for the Canada women's team. She won 181 caps for them and played in 4 World Cups. We've just seen her walk along the touchline after spending some time talking to our reporter there, Alex Richards. They play Australia, by the way, next month, Wales women, in a friendly in Cardiff. That's late in October. Wales are back out then, the men's team back out for the second half here in Swansea, waiting for the men's Canadian side to come back out. I wonder whether we will see any changes. Don't think so at the moment. I think all 11 first half players are still out there. Here come Canada. Quickly then to Nathan Blake and Danny Gabbidon. What can we see from Wales in response, do you think, second half? What will Craig Bellamy have been saying in that changing room?
I think the system they're playing, they need to play it better. The 3 men in midfield, they're getting outnumbered by the 2, effectively 4, because the wide men are coming in. I think the fullbacks need to get into the game more. I'd like to see Capaccio get forward more link-up play with Brooks. I'd like to see Harry Wilson get more in the game. And the same with Dan James. The experienced players really need to try and lean on these youngsters and get a bit more out of them and themselves.
OK, Canada to kick off second half. No changes, I don't think, for Wales at this stage. Nathan Blake there alongside Danny Gabbidon and Mark Poyser.
Thank you, Ian. Welcome back to the Swansea.com stadium. No changes for Wales, no changes for Canada, who restart the match leading by 1-0. And they're going towards their own supporters in this second half, and they attack straight away. But it's a little heavy touch from Ali Ahmed and concedes the throw. Canada in the white shirts with the black and red trim down the sides and on top of the socks. Wales all in red, green and white flashes is the trim on their kit. 8 changes before the game. And it's been a rather disjointed Welsh performance. Canada have hugely impressed in that first half. Can Wales fight back in the second? Canada in possession in the early moments. Kone, the towering number 8, charging down the near left sideline. And did he take that out? No. The officials say no, it's a Canadian throw. The Wales team then once more. Adam Davis in goal. Capaccio, Cabango, Ben Davis and Williams. Jordan James and Crew. And then it's Dan James, Wilson and Brooks. Harris is the striker up front. Canada are leaving this throw to Jean Buchanan. We saw him completely fluff a long throw in the end of the first half. He's wiping the ball on his shorts. The pitch incredibly greasy here at the Swansea.com stadium. In it comes much better throw, headed clear by Wales, but it's immediately picked back up by the white Canadian shirts in the opening moments of this first half. Second half, beg your pardon, it comes forward. And it's Brooks battling for the ball now on the halfway line. Wales haven't got it down yet. Canada nip in again and pinch it. There's pinball all over the park at the moment. It comes out to Buchanan, who swapped sides at the start of the second half. Here he is on the near left, and then they tried to play the 1-2, him and Ahmed, and actually they've got a corner out of it. The last touch came off a red Wales shirt, and Canada have started the second half with intent. 2 minutes gone, still 1-0 ahead, but their third corner of the game, which will come in from this near left side. They've hit the crossbar from one of these in the first half. Ahmed will take one arm in the air, high in-swinger towards the back post, header back across goal. David trying to get there. Wales have scrambled it out to the far side. Canada will pick it up. The goal scorer, who's the defender Cornelius, keeps hold of it. Back into the centre of the Wales field. Everyone in red shirts behind the ball now. In comes the cross, and it's too high for everyone behind for a goal kick.
Tell me what, Cornelius looks like a frustrated defender, then he whips one in the top corner. Obviously back end of the first half, he's out in a wide position there, whips a dangerous ball in. It's in that full back area. It's technically very good centre back.
Left-sided as well, left-footed, rarity, premium position that, a premium player, left-footed, left-sided centre-half.
If you haven't seen the goal, the game is live on BBC One Wales. Watch it back on the iPlayer. It's a fantastic strike. We're here on BBC Radio Wales on all our frequencies. We're also on the BBC Sounds app if you download that to your smartphone or tablet. Take our commentary out and about, whatever you're doing this Tuesday night. We're also on 5 Sports Extra 2 as well, as Wales look for an equaliser in this second half. Back towards Ben Davies on the halfway line, who's winning his 98th cap. So he's on course to reach the century in that blockbuster Belgium game. Capacchio's had his pocket pinched here by Ahmed. Here's David. That's a lovely pass. They've opened them up here towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's one touch too many for Oluwaseyi, and then it hits the midriff of the on-rushing Buchanan behind for a goal kick to Wales.
Yeah, great play again, though, I have to say. Moved the ball really well. One touch, two touch, passing the ball forward, runners. Really good play from Canada.
Comes from that aggression though, Blakey, to win the ball back quickly. You know, Capacchio again there, you know, just the intensity that they're pressing with. He's struggled at times. He's not used to being closed down that quickly, and he's getting caught on the ball. And it's down to Canada and that aggressive press of theirs. When they go, they go with intent.
Yeah. Like Saliba in midfield as well. Thick set, but really athletic. Good spring in his step. Brilliant athlete.
Dan James shrugging off the Canadian fullback Nico Siger of Hajduk Split, who's 22 today.
There's loads of birthdays today. The 9th of September. That's about the 4th person I know. It is, I'm being serious. I know loads of people whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday all.
Well, happy birthday to everyone who's born in September. Wales 0, Canada 1. And this is a Canadian free kick midway inside the Wales half, far right. Again, it's a high line, they all rush backwards now. Cabango helps it on, and then Jordan James gets there. David Brooks is completely flattened on this occasion by Richie Laria, who was cautioned in the first half. Our old friend Mr. Rob Jones, the referee, didn't get the memo that this was a friendly. He let that one go. If you weren't with us in the first half, 5 yellow cards, well 6 actually. He showed one to the manager Jesse Marsh as well. He didn't protest that decision on that occasion. Ahmed is stopped in his tracks on the halfway line by Wales's Crew, winning only his second cap this evening. The 19-year-old on loan at Doncaster Rovers from Leeds United. Space for Jordan James, just over the halfway line. Looks for Mark Harris, takes it well. Can he throw it through for Dan James? Ball didn't quite have enough on it. The sliding tackle comes in, and it's Wales' first corner of the game, 7 minutes after half-time.
And it's one of the few occasions we've been able to break a line with a pass, and Ben Davies has been very good actually in possession. A lot of his passing has kind of been those longer cross-field balls or a little bit more direct, but just on that occasion he's able to thread that ball through the middle of the field and then the ball into Mark Harris, and he's just looking to lay a ball in behind. I think it was just the right back there, Segura, getting back with a really well-timed tackle. Had to make the tackle there, and Wales are in.
It'll be a Brooks outswinger. He's floated in, high towards the back post. Davies heads across goal. Overhead kick, he's headed into the air and off the line and into the arms of the goalkeeper.
Harris. With the overhead kick. Great leap by Ben Davies. Fast stick.
It was going in as well. It needed the defender on the line. Wales' best moment of the second half. They still trail by the goal from the man on the ball, the centre-back Derek Cornelius, who's recently signed for Rangers from Marseille. Outstanding free kick. Wales need to up their levels to get back into this one. The subs, by the way, all the big hitters from Kazakhstan on Thursday are all on the substitutes bench. I'll read you those names in a moment. This is another Canada attack on the near left. Ali Ahmed, the number 11. Into Saliba, cross field, headed back across goal. Cabango's there to nod out of play. Those Wales subs then: Darlow and King, the goalkeepers. Mepham, Lawler, Kumas, Cullen, Johnson, Moore, Norrington, Davis, Thomas, Kai Andrews and Joel Colwill are the Wales substitutes, many of whom are now warming up on this near touchline to our left. The same part of the field where Canada are attacking. This is going to be another long throw from the opposite side. It's low, in fact, towards the near post, and Nico Williams comes up with the ball and surely comes up with a free kick. The officials will let that go. He's shrugged to the floor. Mark Harris then has to clear from inside his own penalty area. Dan James will give chase. Even he's not that quick. And St Clair is flattened by the follow-through from Dan James.
To be fair, Nico Williams has just gone down in the corner, took a dive, it wasn't a free kick, and then I'm not sure what St Clair is doing, but I think I've seen that move in the WWE.
Jesse Marsh and Craig Bellamy exchanging words. And now it's St Clair who's public enemy number one. In the first half it was Laria. And Wales have the ball 1-0 behind. Williams long for Wales, looking for the run of Harris. It'll be picked up by De Fougerolles, and he will just hack it into that stand on the opposite side. Wales take it quickly. Harris by the corner flag, gets it back to Dan James far left. Into Wilson on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, heavy first touch, and he couldn't get past the defender. And then David gets to the loose ball. Capacchio's brought him down, says the referee. Canada free kick on the halfway line.
And it's a really good opportunity for Harry Wilson there. It's that ball squared into him on the edge of the 18-yard box, and see what he's trying to do. He's trying to take his first touch past Cornelius, but there's too much distance between the two players. Would have been better served there, just bringing that in, controlling it, and then maybe looking to shift the ball and manufacturing half a yard to get the strike away.
Now, England are now 3-0 up in Serbia in the World Cup qualifier. Wales play England at Wembley in another friendly next month. This is Cornelius. More immaculate passing from these Canadian players who've really caught the eye. It's clear to the edge of the box, and then a shot is just over the crossbar. Saliba on that occasion from just outside the D. Davis flung himself across goal.
Yeah, he was getting nowhere near that if that was on target. It's a great strike, so much venom and power in it. That's on target. That's taking the back of the net out.
They've been very good value for this 1-goal lead. As the toe comes off Richie Laria of Toronto, former Nottingham Forest player, and it goes behind for a Wales corner. We have played 12 minutes of the second half. Craig Bellamy in conversation with his green-shirted coaching staff, pondering his next move as Harry Wilson gets the mud off his studs so he can carefully curl in this corner with his left boot. One arm in the air for the Wales number 8. He's curled in towards the back post. Free header, and it's straight at the goalkeeper from Crewe.
It's a free header for the youngster on that far post, and he just pulls into an area where there's a little bit maybe indecision with him. Does he nod it back across goal, across his Hitchard box, or does he go towards goal from a tightish angle? It's a bit of a tame header in the end. Comfortable save for the goalkeeper. Good opportunity.
The changes are being readied for Wales. There's going to be at least 2 of them. As shirts and jumpers are being taken off. Meantime, play continues with Canada 1-0 up, and with the ball at the Wales corner flag. Buchanan and Williams battle for it. A throw in to Canada, although Buchanan wants a free kick. It's going to be Norrington Davis. I think Kiefer Moore might be coming on as well. Lots of people bent over. Can't quite see the shirt numbers. No, it's actually going to be Joel Colwell. I saw a 3. And Lewis Kumas as well. A triple Wales change incoming. First this Canada throw level with the penalty spot far right. Again the long throw. He's only headed away at the near post. The white shirts pick it up on the far right. It's killed in with the feet this time. Headed away on that occasion by the Wales captain Ben Davis. Third time of asking, over the top and behind for a goal kick.
Every team's got a long throw at the minute.
Not on that occasion.
Yeah, you wouldn't really call that long, but it's still having a go. It seems to be trending at the minute, that long throw. It's making a comeback.
It has made a huge comeback.
But the goal came from a free kick. A cracking one as well by the centre-half Cornelius. As those Wales changes still continue to ready themselves. The ricochets luckily into the path of Wilson, who then tried to take on one player too many. And these white-shirted Canada players will pick it back up. That's a collector's item tonight. A loose pass by Saliba in midfield. As Colwell...
You're going to blame the centre forward. I'm not saying anything.
Under his foot.
We saw you two glance at each other there.
Saliba to service him. My man's having a great game.
He is, I have to say. That was Davis, that mark. Okay, exposing the striker, typical defender.
Well, Nathan Blake and Danny Gabidon alongside me, who both serve their country with distinction at opposite ends of the pitch, as you can probably work out. And still those Wales changes wait to come on. There's an offside flag that comes up, so now we will see them. So it's Rhys Norrington Davis coming on in place of Nico Williams, his first cap in 3 years. A debut for Joel Colwell, who replaces Jordan James, and Lewis Kumas on for David Brooks. Nathan, Danny, what do you make of those substitutions?
Yeah, some fresh energy. Great to see Rhys Norrington Davis back in a Welsh shirt. You know, it's been a long, long time, as you say, Mark, and he was someone who was kind of starting to establish himself a little bit in the starting 11, and obviously had that, I think it was a hamstring injury that he was out with for well, it was so long, wasn't it? It was probably like over a season, I think. He had problems with that, and now kind of back playing for Sheffield United, so...
Good player.
Yeah, good opportunity for him
Really
tonight.
good player. Just hope he can stay fit.
And on deadline day, he went to Queen's Park Rangers.
Oh, he's gone QPR now.
It's a ball for Harris, who's offside. One of a number of players on the move on deadline day. Harry Wilson had a failed move to Leeds. Jordan James joined Leicester. All added to those preparations being disrupted for that long trip to Kazakhstan. And Canada are going to make some changes of their own. Lots of bits of paper being readied. As Jesse Marsh even continues his instructions. Offside flag against one of the Canada players. Jesse Marsh is one of 3 Americans to have managed in the Premier League. Another is Bob Bradley here at Swansea. And the third is a little bit of a trick one. This is David Wagner. He's born in Germany, but he's got 8 caps for the USA. Here come Wales into the box. It deflects from Harry Wilson. The defender got the last touch. Loops into the air of the goalkeeper St Clair, who I don't think you need me to tell you, whenever he's on the ball in this second half, the boos ring round the Swansea.com stadium. Free kick, meanwhile, to Canada in the right-back position.
Yeah, it was a really good block on that attempted Harry Wilson shot. We've seen him in that kind of situation so many times on the edge of the 18-yard box where he's looking to bend the shot into that far corner. Really good footing. And got to say, really good distribution again from Ben Davies. That kind of left to right crossfield ball. He's really been on point with that tonight. And it's something you shouldn't turn down. As you look at Canada and how they play, Blakey mentioned it, they do get very narrow. The wide players kind of tuck in, full-backs tuck in, and that ball out to the wide man, it is on, but you've got to have the quality to be able to hit that ball, and done a really good job of that tonight, Ben.
Here come the changes. Jacob Schaffelberg is replacing Ali Ahmed. And Jonathan David is coming off to be replaced by a very familiar face in South Wales, the former Cardiff player Junior Hoylett, now of Hibernian. And Canada leading by 1-0. We've played 19 minutes of the second half, and David has handed over the captain's armband to Junior Hoylett. A few jeers as he comes on. He'll have to go some to be more unpopular than Dane St Clair, who's going to take this free kick.
Still rocking the number 10 shirt as well. How old's Junior now, Matt? Do you know?
35.
He's been around for a lifetime, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's been 4 years since he played for Cardiff. And this is Cabango of Swansea, clearing for Wales, and the red shirts going from left to right in the second half. Here at the Swansea.com stadium, trying to play for a throw. This completely enclosed black and white seated bowl. Craig Bellamy wanted a sellout, and in the home section there's only one part in the corner away to our right which isn't full, and then the sort of away end, if you're familiar with this ground, there's one small block of Canadian supporters, and that is where the bulk of the empty seats are, behind the goal where Canada are attacking in the second half. This is Wilson for Wales, midway in the Canada half. Tries to play it cross-field, he only plays it onto the chest of Buchanan. And they're looking for Olise, and it's been lost by Cabango. He's in here, the striker, and it's put miles over the crossbar. He was put under pressure by Davis, who came sprinting across. And I think the Wales captain did just about enough to put the striker off.
Yeah, it's a fabulous football again. Beautiful little ball around the corner. Absolutely beautiful. It was that man again, wasn't it? Saliba. Lovely little ball around the corner, sticks his mate in, and he should really try and drag that onto his right foot, or be a bit more committed on his left. Really don't give the defender time to get across. Really motor, commit the goalkeeper out, and then you can go left of the goalkeeper across him. You can go through his legs, you can go underneath him, you can go high up around his ears. You give yourself so many more options there, but he killed himself by not attacking the space hard enough.
Hoylett for Canada, meantime, who lead by 1-0. Perhaps it could have been 2. Gets to the loose ball again. Capaccio is fighting for it on his Wales debut. And here's another Cardiff player making his debut too. Joel Colwill, his first call-up. He's neat and tidy there as Wales have the ball between the two centre-halves. It's over on the halfway line to Norrington Davis. Ben Davis looking for Harris. Appeals for handball against a Fougerolles. It's a throw only which they've taken quickly. Crew with the cross. There's no one in red. Oh, it's cleared straight to Harry Wilson. Dances past one. They just about get a toe into Canada to retrieve the error. And then Dan James has shoved, Colwill has shoved over the defender for a free kick. The cross from Crew. There was no one in red inside the penalty area.
Yeah, no.
And the cross was straight to Wilson on the edge of the box.
Yeah, Wilson was on the edge of the box, but Mark Harris and Dan James, you've got to act as a pair of strikers there. Cover as much of the 6-yard box as possible. The ball's going to come in that area. You don't want to be any deeper than the penalty spot. But both of you have got to act as strikers there. Mark Harris just switched off, and Dan James at the far stick was just switched off. So great opportunity there, but not alert enough.
Another Wales change coming imminently. The scoreline here on BBC Radio Wales is Wales 0, Canada 1. We're also on the BBC Sounds app if you download that to your smartphone or tablet. And also on 5 Sports Extra 2, Sorba Thomas and Kai Andrews are readying themselves as Wales look for a way back in this game. They have won their last 4 home matches for the first time since 2021. You know who's on the ball. He picks it up slowly and clears out of his hands does the Canada goalkeeper Dane Sinclair. Saliba nips in, just a bit of hesitation in the Wales ranks. He needs no second invitation. That's good defended by Norrington Davis, and actually wins the throw on the far side. So here come the changes. Ronan Capaccio's debut is over. After nearly 70 minutes, he is off to be replaced by Sorba Thomas. And Charlie Crew is coming off, and a debut for 19-year-old Kai Andrews of Coventry City.
Been the easiest of nights for Ronan Capaccio, but the learning he's going to get from this is going to be invaluable. He's played against really good opposition tonight, and fair play to him. He probably not played as well as he would have liked, but he's kind of kept going, kept a kind of positive attitude. I'd like to have seen him get forward a little bit more, as Blakey said, because he is capable of affecting the game in the final third, but the learning he's going to take back to Cardiff now off the back of this kind of experience is going to be invaluable for him.
And that's the point, right, Dan? You're not going to play well all the time. You're playing in League One. It's not been easy, but they've done ever so well. Cardiff only conceded 1 goal so far this season, but you need to know what the levels are above you. We've seen him for Wales in brief, but tonight, like you said, up against a good team.
Given away by Canada on the edge of the penalty. This is Harris, can't find Wilson. Headed away by Canada. Norrington Davis on the spot. Kumas in a real physical battle over on the far left as Canada are preparing changes. We get a sighting of the moon high above the Swansea.com stadium. The skies are clear now. Not blood red like it was in the eclipse on Monday. And well done to anyone who saw that. This is Wilson, edge of the box, trying to curl it, took a nick, and the keeper slides across and just about keeps it in. And I think even from this distance that was the right decision, despite the fact that the crowd here with 19 minutes to go completely disagree. Mind you, maybe they're just booing because their party villain Dane Sinclair is on the ball. So 3 changes imminently coming on for Canada, who lead 1-0. We were talking about Ronan Capaccio. He, Joel Colwell and Dylan Lawler have all made their international debuts in this break. We'll be following the League One leaders to Stockport on Saturday. Swansea here against Hull, Wrexham against Queen's Park Rangers and Tranmere Newport. 4 3 o'clock kickoffs for you on BBC Radio Wales Sport. 2 o'clock on Saturday. This is Wilson, long ball into the box. Great tackle in behind. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, the defender Larrier nicks it away from Wales's number 8.
Yeah, can't underestimate that. That was fantastic. Great covering. Last-ditch defending. Didn't go to the ground either. Fair and square. Just waited for Harry to take his touch. And just as he's pulling the trigger, just nicks it away from him. Great recovery as well.
And then Kone thinks about a shot down the other end for Canada from 40-odd yards. First touch for Kai Andrews, finds Dan James, and he will run and run towards the edge of the penalty on the near right side. High standing crosses slightly behind everyone. Kumas will keep it in play far left. There's only Wilson to aim at in the box. And Wales do keep hold of the ball, but every white Canadian shirt is back behind the ball.
That's decent delivery, by the way. You know, somebody's got to break their neck to kind of... I know he's quick, Dan James, but they've made a really good cross there look bad. The lack of runners in the box.
Yeah. Well, Kumas got to be trying to make that ground up. And Harry Wilson was going through the middle. If anything, I was going to be cut back, but you're right, Dan. As you see it breaking, you say to yourself as a striker or an attacker, there's going to be an opportunity here.
And Wilson has dropped deep and found the ball. Those are the voices of Nathan Blake and Danny Gavidon here on BBC Radio Wales. Teasing cross by James, nowhere near Kumas. Easy for the goalkeeper to take at the back post. And time is starting to run out for Wales with 16 minutes to go.
I think you're saying, Dan, that the midfielder and the striker were basically in the same position, split up there. One of you make a run a bit deeper, you're in.
Well, Daniel James here picks the ball up again on the right hand side. As soon as he cuts inside on his left, Lewis Kumas has to be on that far post making them. As soon as he cuts inside, cross comes into that far post. I'm looking at Lewis Kumas there, and he's way too wide. He's got to be in on that far post. I'm sure Craig Bellamy would probably be telling him that as well, because that's something that he likes his wide players to do.
Still those 3 white-shirted Canada players wait to come on. The ball hasn't gone out of play as it spins out on the near side. Now it does. So here they come. So Theo Bahia is coming off. For Tani Ulashawi. Kone is coming off for Jaden Nelson. And the final change to Jean Buchanan. And it's Mathieu Chouanier. The 4th official wasn't messing about with the advertising board. Bang, bang, bang up. Players, if you weren't paying attention, you might have missed your number. 15 minutes to go. Wales 1-0 down. They have not lost a home game inside 90 minutes since they were beaten 4-2 by Armenia in June 2023. They're being beaten at the moment unless they can find an equaliser. You're listening to BBC Radio Wales. We're on the BBC Sounds app on your smartphone or tablet. We're on 5 Sports Extra 2. And we're on until Larry Shawn takes over at 10 o'clock. We'll bring you all the reaction, however this finishes. Anything you don't hear, Radio Wales Breakfast tomorrow morning, bright and early from 7 o'clock with Dot Davis and Nick Savini. And there's more sport coming your way on Thursday. BBC 2 Wales at 7 o'clock. Scrum 5, the warm-up. A post-mortem of a dreadful Women's Rugby World Cup for Wales. What about the men's football team? Can they find an equaliser here in their first match at the Swansea.com Stadium in front of supporters in 12 years? They've won a throw midway inside the Canada half as the home supporters find their voice to try and lift their team. This is Cabango in the centre circle. Thomas just on the field with the low-hung socks. Passes behind Harry Wilson, gobbled up by Canada. We've looked incredibly comfortable for most of the night. They may catch a few people by surprise in the World Cup next year if this is anything to go by. Lovely turn by Laria, the defender, coming forward. Andrews is opposite, number 22, sticks to the task. Wilson is surely tugged back. The referee did see it, and it's a Wales free kick.
I think you're seeing a similar thing maybe now with Canada a bit, where they've made kind of a host of changes and they've lost a little bit of impetus, haven't they, and not quite playing to the level that we had seen. Wales just enjoying a lot more kind of possession now.
Absolutely. Young Kai Andrew done well though there. Got done in the initial period. Stuck to his task, recovered, and just managed to, again, toe it off Laria.
1-0 it remains to the visitors. Good play again by Kai Andrews on his international debut. The third international debut for Wales of the night. Thomas telegraphed that one, easily picked up by Chouanier. And there's 2 Canadian players down. It's a free kick, I think, for the foul on Schaffelberg. And Harry Wilson is standing over the goal scorer Cornelius. Cracking free kick in the first half. It remains the difference between the two sides. And they're singing some not very nice songs about England, who are 4-0 up against now 10-man Serbia. Wales go to Wembley next to play England on October the 9th. And also in World Cup qualifying, it's now Norway 10, Moldova 1.
Just Haaland. He might have got 1 or 2.
Let's see how many he's got.
He hasn't scored.
He's got a first half hat-trick and 2 in the second half. So he's on for a hat-trick in each half. And Asgard has also got a hat-trick. Good luck to him getting the ball off Haaland.
Just watching young Kai Andrews, I just can't help but think he's got that Yuri Tielemans whole vibe about him, hasn't he? Shape, size, feet, the way he runs. Listen, if he becomes that type of player, he'd take that centre midfield all day. Well
Thomas, that is the definition of a hospital pass back to Adam Davis, who does well to hack it into the dark Swansea sky, just to get it away. And then Wilson concedes a foul. And the attendance is read out as 15,024. That is a record crowd for a Wales international in this stadium by some distance. Not quite the sellout that Craig Bellamy was hoping for. There's 1 or 2 supporters around, have got the phone torches out with 9 minutes remaining.
I think he has that profile, Andrews, that Craig Bellamy likes. He's looking for a bit more maybe athleticism in that midfield area, and he's not see much game time at Coventry, but he has been involved kind of in recent squads, and that is the reason why, because I think Craig Bellamy likes the type of profile that he has and sees him as someone who's a little bit different to the rest of the midfielders that he's got.
Hoylett takes it for Canada, straight onto the forehead of Rhys Norrington-Davis. A lovely back heel out there by Nelson with the afro hairstyle. He's just come on. Wales battle for it by the corner flag. Who does that touch last? It's a Canada throw wide on the far right. And there may be one more Wales change in the offing, perhaps. 8 minutes remain. And it's on the halfway line with Schaffelberg looking for Nelson, who wins the header infield, and then he'll pick up the loose ball. Larrier now for Canada. Change of pace, and then he telegraphed his pass to Schaffelberg. Sorba Thomas wants to play it down the line, there's no one there, and then he's swallowed up by the white shirts. Andrews with a good touch to knock it out of play for a throw as Larrier goes down off the ball.
Yeah, it was Sorba off the ball, left foot on him, and he's not happy at all. The ball had gone like 2 minutes ago.
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Frustrated, Sorba Thomas, because they just haven't allowed you to have that amount of time on the ball tonight. They swarm around you in 2s and 3s and just gets the ball nicked off him and just shows his
and he has got a fuse as well, Sorba.
Well, if football doesn't work out, he'll have a career in the WWE. Chris Mepham waiting to come on for Wales. This free kick is over on this near left. Hoylett will deliver. Curling, flicked on into the arms of Adam Davies comfortably, the Wales keeper. And he's not in any rush to play the ball out as Mepham studies this sheet of paper in front of him with instructions. Incredibly detailed. And Wales have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area.
Maybe they're going to go to a 3.
They've lost it again on the halfway line. Mepham waits to come on. Don't forget the Feast of Football phone-in is back on Saturday at 5:30. And we'll be taking your calls on this game as well, as Norrington-Davis is cautioned. And Wales will make the change, and it's Ben Cabango who will depart. And Chris Mepham, who won his 50th cap on Thursday, as did Kiefer Moore. He comes on, and he's carrying that note with him onto the field as well. Cabango, the Swansea captain, he'll be back here at the weekend, as we will, to see the Swans against Hull. On comes Chris Mepham. And there are just over 5 minutes left of the regulation 90 here on BBC Radio Wales. And Craig Bellamy's Wales are looking for an equaliser, or their unbeaten home run is going to be coming to an end. The boos once more for the Canada keeper in green, Dane St Clair, who clears it from the halfway line. Headed into the box, Mepham straight into the action, volleys it out for a throw. Midway in the Wales half, in fact it's more towards the edge of the penalty area, far right, they take it quickly. Nelson though has lost it. Norrington-Davis battles back, Nelson has pinched it from him, and he's strong and gets the throw. Well, even if it does end in defeat, we talked before the game, Nathan and Danny, about Craig Bellamy wanting this intensity, wanting to learn.
I don't think Wales have ever really got into a rhythm tonight. I think that mixture of debutants, young players and a couple of seniors usually works out, but probably given it the opportunity again, Craig would probably go with maybe 3 or 4 changes rather than the 8. But like you say, you can't win all the games. It's a good learning curve for many of the young players.
Mepham is charged down and actually concedes the throw. What will Craig Bellamy have learned, Danny, do you think?
Well, I think it's always a difficult one to judge, obviously, what Blakey's saying there, where you make so many changes, but irrespective of the changes, as a manager, you want to see the same kind of principles and ideas. And I think at times we've kind of seen that. I think, we've tried to play. We have found it difficult, and you have to give credit to the opposition. And, I think there's been some kind of decent individual performances in there as well. Obviously, great to see a lot of these youngsters kind of get opportunities and experience as well. So
this is Hoyle on the left, and he'll win a corner just as Bayer was lurking in the middle and in front of those Canada supporters who are all on their feet.
Very often when you play these games, Dan, you play up against, like you said earlier, you play a really low ranked team, right? You don't play a team ranked above you, but it's good to learn. It's the only way you learn is when you're getting beaten. If you're winning all the time, you're learning to win, yeah, but you need to learn to play under duress sometimes.
Hoyle takes the corner into the near post. It's flinging around the penalty area. Hook then to the back post. And who's going to come up with the ball as Schaffelberg and Wilson go to ground? It's a Canada throw. Wilson desperate to get hold of it. He's not settling for a defeat, even if it is a friendly. Mepham under pressure again and taken out late by Nelson. And now they're pushing and shoving, and players are having a race over here. There's a yellow card for Nelson. He was going for the ball, he was just late. And Nelson Mepham took exception to that. The referee's calmed everything down in the end. A yellow card suffices. We now have just over 90 seconds left of the regulation 90.
And that's what I've enjoyed about tonight as well. It's been a bit of spice. It's been competitive, there's been tackles flying in, there's been a lot of yellow cards you don't normally see from friendly games. And kind of both managers, they taught the game up a lot, didn't they, coming into it? It hasn't really disappointed in that respect. Players haven't disappointed. It's been really competitive.
Both sets of players have wanted to win this game. They've played it like it's a competitive game. Here's Ben Davies playing his first minutes in this window of the season. Norrington Davis, not a great pass out to Kumas, but Wales in the red shirts have kept the ball alive. Final minute. They're still searching for a goal to cancel out Derek Cornelius's superb free kick in the first half. This is Thomas, but it's all on the halfway line. All the Canadian players behind the ball. No way through for Wales. Ben Davies plays a good pass to Thomas on the near right. Fires it across goal, and it's helped wide by Harris. Point blank snapshot, not on target.
Oh, Blakey.
He's just got to get his foot around it and his chest over the ball a bit more, Dan. It was a great opportunity, and it's one of them, you actually guide it rather than swing your foot at it. I think he's gone for it, trying to put a bit too much power on it, but there's so much power on the cross. It's come low, it's with the laces in from Thomas, so you just let it hit you and guide it, just thinking make sure to hit the target there. If you don't hit the target, you don't score.
Yeah.
You can't go into the keeper if you don't hit the target.
Yeah, I think the pace of the cross and the speed in which Mark Harris is running at, like you say, Blakey, he's almost just got to use the pace of the cross and just guide the finish, and trying to put too much on it. It doesn't even hit the target in the end. You'd be really disappointed with that. Mark Harris, he's worked hard all night.
Sorry, Danny, we're into 3 minutes of added time. Saliba is coming off for Waterman.
What a performance from Saliba. I'm really impressed with him.
And it's finished in World Cup qualifying. Norway 11, Moldova 1, 5 for Haaland and 4 for Asgard.
A couple of assists for Haaland, I think, as well, to go with the goals.
12 goals in that one, just the one here. One of the 3 added minutes has elapsed. As As a few more black and white seats are starting to appear inside the Swansea.com stadium, with Canada 1-0 ahead. Ben Davies backpedaling and under pressure, shoved to the floor by Nelson. I think the two defenders for Wales have upset him. That's the second one he's charged into. Time running out. Kai Andrews under pressure, and he keeps hold of it against both Hoylett and Bahia. And Ben Davies forward for Wales. Cross field pass, it won't reach Thomas, but the header does take it onto the boot of Wales' Stoke midfielder. Wilson gives it in back. Good move to the byline across the face of goal. Towed behind for a corner. We might be in last chance saloon here for Wales.
Oh, it's lovely link play on this right-hand side between Harry Wilson and Sorba Thomas. Great pass to get him inside the 18-yard box, and you just cannot hit the first man there with your cross. You've got to pick someone out. He's got time to get his head up. Hits the first man, Cornelius.
In comes the corner from the near right. Wilson headed away by those towering white-shirted defenders. Collect by James on the far left. Norrington Davis crosses straight into the face of Chouanier, and it's head tennis inside the Canada half. Pumped back up high into the Swansea night sky. Two Canada players go for the same ball. 20 seconds left of stoppage time. Long from Thomas, and it's nowhere near Wilson. And that might be that, as it's collected by the keeper Sinclair, and he'll dribble it out and eke out as many seconds as possible. And Jesse Marsh thinks the game is over. He's congratulating all his coaching staff down there. And we're now into a fourth minute of added time.
We've seen that one before. Alan Pardew.
Well, if Wales scored now, he'll have egg on his face. And Craig Bellamy saw it as well, I think. Look at that, he's making the point. Not happy with that. Free kick to Wales, check of the watch with the referee, and now it is all over. Wales are beaten at home for the first time under Craig Bellamy. A much-changed team found wanting against this rapidly improving Canada side, who congratulate themselves on their second victory in this window. For Wales, it's all about Belgium next month in the World Cup qualifiers. Craig Bellamy will have learned plenty from this. He wanted high intensity and a difficult game. He got that in spades. Derek Cornelius' superb free kick in the first half is enough to give Canada the win. It finishes in Swansea. Wales 0, Canada 1.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy now going out onto the field. He just had a chat with one of the Canadian players, and he was protesting to the coaching staff and their subs, I think, just saying, what are you clapping for? I think he felt they were celebrating the win a little bit prematurely, but out he goes onto the field then, shaking hands with all of the players now in his smart white loafers and grey slacks. It is the first home defeat for Craig Bellamy, as Mark was saying. It's the first time since June 2023, 2 years and 3 months since Wales lost at home. It was that 4-2 defeat to Armenia in Cardiff, remember, in the Euro 2024 campaign. But they decided tonight to ditch their home comforts, didn't they? Their usual surroundings of the Cardiff City Stadium, to take the game west. And they asked for a tricky test, and they got that all right. And the result is a home defeat, losing 1-0, beaten by one of the hosts of next year's World Cup. But of course, the bigger picture for Wales is, can they book a trip to Canada next summer, plus the USA and Mexico? That is the question, with the campaign resuming next month at home to Belgium. One more friendly before that against England at Wembley. The small matter of a trip to English football's HQ, and they are winning tonight, by the way, in Serbia handsomely. But as Canada go over to that very small gathering of their supporters to our left-hand side to mark their victory, and Wales head to the corner as well to clap their own fans. Nathan Blake's got a little picture there for a souvenir, and Danny Gabidon. Do we think the game delivered on its objective, guys? I mean, Craig Bellamy certainly wanted a tough test. He got that. There was a lot of sophistication and elegance to Canada's play, wasn't there? But what do we get from Wales, do you think, tonight? What do we learn from it?
What 8 changes does for you, I think. You know, a bit stop-start. I don't think they were bad necessarily, Wales. They just weren't at full tilt. which is understandable. Plus, you've got some young lads coming in. You know, you've got to look at the fact that young Capacchio's in, young Crew is in, you know, Adam Davis in goal, you know, Ben Cabango. But I thought they all done relatively well. I don't think anyone had a poor game necessarily. It was just that you're not in the rhythm that, you know, the starting 11 that were out in Kazakhstan. Had they started the day with like 9 of them, they probably would have been a lot better, would have been a more even game. I think Canada deserved to win the game and they had the best chances. But, you know, like I said in comms, you know, sometimes you're going to come under duress. When you come up against England, you're going to be even under more duress. So you've got to learn to play, you've got to learn to keep your shape and then try and counter-attack and win games, win second balls and what have you. Try and win games from a position of, you know, defence, not always pressing. So I think Craig would have learned a lot. The players who started, the youngsters who come in and would have learned a lot. And they know now, you know, there are levels to the game. And to step up to international level, it's not easy. It's as simple as that.
There's a bit of a lap of appreciation from the Wales players amid the backdrop of Umar O'Heed from David Ewan and the Canada team. All of the players and all of the subs and the coaching staff are inside the 18-yard box in a big circle. They just found the energy to just do a little sprint towards the byline and then a little jump in the air that they did to salute their travelling fans. And Wales now making their way back towards us here in the main stand before they go home. A couple of little waves from, I think, Ben Davis, waving to somebody in the crowd. Captain tonight as he returned to Swansea. He's going to do a pitchside interview, and we will try to bring you some reaction before we leave you at 10 o'clock. Larry Shawn coming up on BBC Radio Wales and BBC Sounds.